What's up, man?
Hey yo,
How you
Taylor
doing?
Bud. Hey man, what's up?
You
Yeah.
know, home improvements and stuff.
Okay, man, you haven't been. I haven't seen you as active online, so I
Yeah,
figure
man.
you busy with real life.
Yeah, just working on home improvements, man. You know what I mean? Little stuff here and there, big stuff. Bunch of shit, man. I feel like as far as around the house and getting in a lot more first worldy.
What was the last thing you said?
So just getting the house a lot more first worldy.
Third worldy. There should be something like it looks like it's almost outside of time that you could just go to, right?
Yeah, it's been nice, man. Just been learning a lot. You know what I mean? I put in a door yesterday because like the tree fell on my shit, so then I had to it destroyed my door and everything. So I hanging doors is like I think it's easier to put up to build a house than hang a door.
Really, it's like that.
The door is a bitch, man. I just feel like it's a lot more tedious.
In what specific way? Because it must be some sort of specific inches or angles you're trying to get here.
Yeah, you just constantly trying to keep it level. You know what I mean? Doing like just level. You know what I mean? Throwing the leveler on that bitch every time you do anything. You know what I mean? It's all like, and then the wood is old, so it's be warped. So like it's just constantly moving the stems to keep the shit where you want to keep it and then get it in place. And I don't know, man. It was cool though, man. It was a, it
Is it you or
was a
you and
cool
someone
thing.
else? You and someone else doing it
Now I'm doing it, but
by
I
yourself?
had a dude. No, I had an older dude telling me what to do, man. He was just, you know what I mean? Because he's too old to do anything, but he was, his mind worked. So that was cool.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's not stressful. I mean, it's little. It's a little thing. It's a big thing. It's at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I was just, he just wanted some acid. I was like, "Well, how much, for the job?" And he was like, "Yo, man." He was like, "Man, my son used to grow these mushrooms. You got any mushrooms?" I was like, "I don't have none, but I do have some leftover acid if you want that." He was like, "Oh hell yeah!" So so it worked out.
Deal. Barter.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me pay him money.
That's a trippy barter, man.
He wouldn't let me pay him money. Yo. He was like, "Nah, man, it's all right, man."
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's cool when you're at that point in life, you know.
yeah.
Like you just be it really. Yeah, that's not really number one here.
Give me some shrooms, the
I
mushroom,
Yeah,
some
I'd probably
acid.
go with that. I got all these skills,
Yeah,
you know, like it's harder to get that. It's probably yeah, it probably yeah, you do people solids just with that
yeah.
win-win.
Because he was like 65 or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I ain't really.
Man, that'd be blowing my
Um,
mind. Like how other people be taking psychedelics at different ages.
yeah, he was like, man, he's like, he's seasoned too, man. He was like, I done DMT. My son was extracting it for a while.
All right.
I guess his son's like a chemistry teacher or something. And I'm like, this dude probably teaching like fucking freshman chemistry or something, and he's just on the side making DMT.
Yeah, that'd be tough not to do for some people, for a lot of people. Like I don't.
Yeah,
That's got to be so much power just to know the chemistry on some stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, can't be a loss.
Man, what I was thinking the other day, it's like what's money without power?
Man, I mean, yeah, because you got to protect your money. you
Yeah, yeah,
know what I'm saying? You can try to pay somebody to do something, but if you can't reinforce, what you want done, then they just take your money.
there's no power there. That's tough. I still want to get with the chemist. I want to learn how to make LSD eventually, but sooner than later. I feel like it can't be that tough.
Yeah, it can't be, man. It really, you know what I mean? Especially if you're just getting just the liquid, you know. You don't, you know what I mean? What is the point of making sheets if you can get just pure liquid?
Yeah, that's tough. Like you just gotta meet the chemist. Gotta meet the chemist or something. It's all this, but back to just being compartmentalized.
I know, man, and those people are like they act like Eisenhower from fucking Breaking Bad, like they don't want you to know who they are, you know what I mean?
I mean, in
Like
my mind, that's the character. Like I don't know what this person looked like, but yeah, that's if I could only imagine.
that's how they gotta be. I don't know. I got a friend, man, he been my friend for a while, my DMT plug and my acid plug too. And he just like, yo, man, my dude, he just I'll be like, yo, what's up? Can we meet the guy? When I meet the guy, he's just like he doesn't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like, I was like, we've been doing this for years, man. You know what I mean? And he was still like, no. I've been to the guy's house and everything. He won't come out. You know, my friend got to go in. It's like fucking hilarious,
That's
man.
funny. Is this the same dude that don't be serving people that he lives with?
I don't know. My guy in the Northeast.
I think you were telling me that because something stuck in my head about someone who he just wouldn't serve you because you were staying with him or something.
I forget. I think I know what you're talking about though, but I forget. But yeah, that's hilarious though.
I don't know what that superstition is. It'd be popping up in my mind every now and again. Like, why would someone do that? But you know,
Yeah, I don't
spooky
know, man.
superstitions. I mean, so
I
you
be
don't.
thinking. I be thinking about it. I don't know. Like I'll be like, man, maybe I don't know if I'm ever gonna get high again. Like, my mom's gonna visit me on Christmas, maybe. Maybe I'll do some mushrooms or something. I don't know, man. I really don't be. I think about it for a second. Like maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. And then I'm like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, bro, you're too old, man. It's too late.
Yeah,
No,
you know.
I'm half joking when I say that, but
I
you even
mean,
said it. I mean, it's crazy. Like if you're even if you're a stoner past a certain age, that'd be looking kind of crazy.
yeah, I think like if you're just maybe if you're like that dude that came by helped me hang the door. You know, he already had kids that's grown and gone, and he just chilling. You know what I mean? Like maybe at that point you can play with it, but I feel like I just got shit I got to do.
Still too much shit to do. It's way too
Yeah,
much shit to do. It's but what is this critical thought? You know, like it's like it's critical thought. It knows no bounds. You know, we're gonna be irrational for a second. You know, I feel like that's included in life is the improbable.
yeah.
You
I
know,
think I was overly irrational for a long time. So maybe it'll balance out after a while here.
I mean, you find your own balance in your unique individual alchemy that is independent of any external situation. You know, like even the physical body. You know, like we're just going through these phases of realizing what's greater. You know, but it's like these stages of blindness that we go through, and the chemical aspect of it, even looking at the human body as an alchemical symphony of all these different rhythms and tones, vibrations, frequencies. You know, if the human body itself is just this symphony, you know, it's wild
Yeah,
looking at
man.
it like, okay, you can see where certain tones or notes are being blocked, or there's some disharmonies going on because of the chemical intake or the chemical composition or homeostasis with, whatever. Are we blocking out? Can we, am I blocking out a whole range of the orchestra that, you know, that it could be participating, but it's not, and it's that blindness. I guess, it's like being blind. You're seeing more. It feels like you let go of the substances and getting high. Mainly, what a lot of people are talking about is like smoking weed or psychedelics like LSD, or the mushrooms, and we be taking some. You have the dinner date, even maybe some LSD and DMT, you know, something like that. And these experiences, you get these reference points. They're enriching. They feel spiritually enriching. You do the breath work. You're able to integrate it and turn it into. It's not even you're turning it into something useful, but it's not a wasted time. Like none of this time's wasted. Getting an expanded perspective, we'll call it being high for the sake of the conversation. And that's a lot of people. So me myself included, like that. That's where it's at as far as most of the experience and where I want to spend a lot, where I end up tend to spend a lot of my time is just in that in that zone, and I've never really known anything beyond that, and so I'm saying that you're getting beyond it as far as letting go of these things. You get through the discomfort of letting go of these things, then there's a deeper stillness, that there's something here that I just cannot see. If I could see this, then it would be so easy to let go of all this stuff. It would be so, like, why? Yeah, why? Of course, I want to feel this way for eternity because I've always felt, it's similar to how I was when a baby. I like the experience. Well, it's not that I like the experience, but I'm having an interesting time going through a lot of the feeling tones of my childhood that pop up. The more I get closer to just what we'll call sobriety for the sake of this conversation. Like, there's being high, and there's sobriety, and then it's just kind of being more clear, or not even sobriety, but just clarity. Having that clarity and then going through it just by myself individually with the feelings, not thinking about it. Days go on, little feeling tones from my childhood start to come up, and I start to remember. It's almost like I start to remember, like, how I was sort of thinking and feeling before my body or mind got corrupted by eating certain things or something. That's my theory. It's like, because if it is all the ice cream and chips
Does
and
it
stuff.
come through like a dream that you like forgot but then remembered?
Oh yeah, I mean, all the childhood memory, like the formative childhood memories, like, it's like, damn, that really was a memory, like yesterday. And it is almost like a dream. And I forgot I felt the way about that world. It was way more magical. I lost that, and now I just by feeling that, though, I remember. And I feel like I'd be, it really is a little remembrance moments. And then, but then those glimpses, that was before I was getting high like this. Of course, I was already high on the sugar and the processed food and all those things. And I think that's what was kind of creating these shells. I was kind of like closing down into these like shells in my subconscious and stuff because of the chemical, the neurotoxins and stuff. So I was high to a degree, but I still feel this way about life, like how I felt at the zoo. Even if I did just have an ice cream, and I'm at the zoo, it's still just, apart from all these external things or any chemical, anything I consumed. It's just my general intrigue in life, that childlike intrigue, not even childlike, but even godlike, the godlike childlike intrigue, and just where, am I rekindling this? Am I remembering this as I step away from the substances that got me to a certain point? I feel like it looks like all technologies and stuff, and it's never the thing. It could be the way you're doing it, could be your intentions going about it, tons of different applications, but it's just remembering these feelings of how, like, before any of this. And though, so is there a mystery here? You're getting closer, you to the point, like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get high again. But
Yeah.
that's that, and so, looking at, like, life's opening up, things are more things. Your priorities are just there, and is there any time to compare or look at what other people are doing? Like, it's
I
like,
don't know. I feel like it'd be like, I don't know. It's funny. A funny thing with getting high or like opening myself up like that. Like, I just felt like, you know there was there was like friction or static inside of me, and I would have like periods of it, you know, and I would just kind of be able to break through it with the drugs or whatever. But then, like, I think now I'm just learning how to deal with, like, I guess, like greater like periods of static. Honestly, like where things just kind of feel like, ah, man, it feels more mundane, but it's still really precious and important. You know what I mean? Because everything kind of reaches an inflection point one way or another, and like, I feel like I'm just more. I don't want to say comfortable, but I feel like I'm just more present during the static periods where I'm like, because like I can feel myself, kind of break through, like in a non-assisted way, you
mhm.
know, like get points across, and that's why I haven't really been posting because I'm like, it's just not right.
Yep.
It's just not right because I can feel it coming through, and I just want to wait for it. It's almost like a pimple that's gonna pop. You start trying to pop it early, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a scar. And like that's kind of how I feel about it. Like where it's like I like go through like daily periods of static and not really. and just have no like patience through it. Like I had no like steadfastness through it. So I was like, fuck it, I want to break through the static right now. Where and I think it created more static. And for me, what I'm saying, I don't know, I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, like it was like kind of creating more static because it was like I kind of just like forced it open, forced myself open instead of like really breaking through the static another, in a more gentle way and allowing shit to come through instead of like trying to force it through. So
Mhm.
like it really comes out on time, you know what I mean? And so I right now I feel like I'm just like collecting in some ways, like it's all there, like it's so I feel really like fragmented in my thoughts in some ways, like as far as like creation, but at the same time I feel like it's like I don't want to speak too soon because I still feel like I'm gathering perspective and really putting things, piecing things together, and then gathering experiences. I guess is the same thing as perspective. You know what I mean? And so I'm gathering that right now to where I feel like I don't want to force it out. I don't want to force myself to the surface. I want to see how I really fare. You know what I mean? Because man, I've seen the processes mad times. Like where the ups and downs of things. Where it feels like everything is for naught and that nothing's moving forward, and then you get a breakthrough or whatever. And then I feel like since I would be forcing it along the way, when the breakthroughs would come, I would mismanage it, and then it would set me up for having another, low period, a little more static period where I would need to force it even more. And I feel like at this point, I'm kind of just breaking that trend where I'm like, all right, let me figure out my process, my real process, where because I really feel like I'm allotted. I can't speak for everybody, man, but I really feel like I'm allotted certain shit every month or every week or even every day, like little tidbits, and every month is like a cycle of like receiving and then expressing and then receiving and expressing. And so like I just I'm more like kind of curious to see what the process if I could do it this way in a more gentle way, in a more concise way where I just really don't say much, and when I do say things it's really exact and just really wait for because I feel like everything could, the thoughts compete with each other, the posts compete with each other, and I'm just like, how can I cut all the fray out, to where I can really get to, separating the wheat from the chaff and everything.
I like this idea of collected, and it's not that I like it, but this is this is where I feel like I've been at for a while, is not wanting to talk because I always feel that there's something I'm likely missing, so I have to continue to observe until I feel that okay, I actually can say this about this because I have an idea, but before then it's just I just got to keep letting it unfold. But life continues to do that. You keep reading, or you study, or you keep studying, but then life gives you. You're saying it's giving you opportunities as far as just to realize yourself or get a little closer. What do you mean by that? By
I mean, it's like I really don't have like it's like a time and a place, I guess, for everything. Where it's like, man, I could sit here and try to force out a bunch of posts that I feel like would be insightful, or I could kind of cherry pick from what I've already learned and remix it, and people could, maybe they could be wooed by it. I don't know, but I feel
what's the
like now
format?
it's not really the time right now. I feel like the vulnerability isn't really there in that place. Like the vulnerability is like having the patience to like be humble enough to like take instructions, man. So this dude can tell me how to fucking put a door in, or like um, just anything, man. Like it's been like
Okay.
one thing. It's been one thing after another. Like I had to bring in a fucking insert for my fireplace so I could get the most out of burning my wood. Because I was like, man, this is not economical. There's gotta be a way to circulate this heat better.
Hmm.
So the guy that helped me hang the door, he told me like, "Yo, man, get an insert." You know what I mean? Like that'll be a lot better for you. You know what I mean? And I never even knew what the fuck that was. You know what I mean? So then I went and got an insert, and that shit was like it was like 500 pounds, and I had to like it was just like I don't know. I could see like the process of everything working out perfectly. Like I was trying to get somebody to put the door in for me, but then I'm glad I never got it done because I would have never been able to fit the insert in here if I already had the door up.
Ah,
So like I feel like it just I started to see like the processes of doing things like when not to act and when it makes the most sense and just not letting season life by the horns when I need to like just paying attention to shit. Like I had to finish my deck because my other room is gone now. It's a deck now. You know what I mean? It's a fucking wall. So I had to burn all the walls and everything, and because the tree fell through the house on that one side where the kitchen was, so I had to take all the debris and burn it and throw away all the trash and insulation. But then the floor's still there, so I just finished it. So it's a deck now. You know what I mean? And I just felt like everything happened on time, like where I got it finished just in time to where it could seal before the rains got here. Then I got the fireplace insert in, and then I got the door in right the day before the rains came. And like I don't know, it's just like little tasks, man, a little shit, paying attention, like making the most of shit, and not trying to force it, not trying to get ahead of shit. Because it was so many times I felt like in the last fucking, I guess I've been back like almost like 2 months now. I've been back in the last 60 days where I just felt like I wanted to like be emotional, and I was just like, all right, man, let me just do what I can do today, whatever it is, little stuff to make my surroundings better and learn something maybe, you know what I mean, and just see what might be here, what's available for me to do, and I could just see like how just giving that more attention, I could see like how things was just ordering themselves, and life just kind of worked out, and I was just like, all right, well, this is a phase for this now. It's not a phase for sitting there and posting and trying to force it because yeah, it might be nice, you know what I mean? I might woo some people that don't know as much as me, but it's like I might as well just learn more and then come back when I, you know, have shed that snake skin where I'm at another skin.
well, you staying like just close enough to relevant and up to be on the technology to when there's a format or new platform that comes around like they cyclically do. You can make your jump to have the deepest, not even the biggest impact, but the deepest impact. And by format, because I'm just talking about new ways to present information that could be deeper. I just saw this video just now. This dude talking, and they grab a bunch of the words and they're using an AI generator to just generate tons of these really specific images, very specific images. They got the montage of these AI generated images that are really symbolically connected to what's being talked about in this way to where it's like this is a futuristic way of entertainment of infotainment, or even I saw the motherfucking 3D. Imagine a 3D VR chalkboard. You could draw. You could draw a full scale size stick figure right next to you, and then like point out and then say this is where it's organs, and then this is like second vertebrae. Zoom in and out. Take people on knowledge journeys, and in the whole meantime, while this technology is being developed for you to just step into, you're getting into your own personal learning experience, and it's always blown my mind too because you've always been able to be so consistent with this, and I think that it's something having to do with how it's true. It could be not even like an intellectual thing most of the time. It could be like a heart, be that heart knowledge, just things so you're never really ever not talking about what you were already talking about. Do you feel like you're saying anything new, or it's just been the whole thing, the same thing the whole time, just in different levels of intricacy?
I mean, I think yeah, I'm just getting better at communicating the same thing. I mean, but at
I mean,
the
it really
same,
is that. Like, you can do that. Like, it's possible to continually, like, produce content in that way. Like, you could what you're saying is force it, and and woo people because you really can at will basically bring some form of information. And it's like art. It's kind of like art, you know. But that's a skill a lot of people can't do. Just content writing in general. Like, of course, you can strategize to figure out how to do it. Though, is it something that really is necessary? Can you find a deeper level of learning that's individually without even sharing it, going outside of yourself, and then you can like really get it. I don't know, have a closer grip on it to where later on it's just these stages are kind of flip flopping, super necessary. It's like necessary. It's very necessary that you would look at your day like that, or and all the opportunities of the day instead of all the opportunities of what to say.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I think when I was on weed or just anything, not just weed, it was like uh, it made me too open to where again, like it just it's so much that it'd be competing. You know what I mean? And it would take me away from what I was actually in that moment to try to communicate this something to somebody that might not really be in that moment. But I feel like if you just stay present, then you really get in touch with that like that universal vein. Whatever everybody's going through, and that's why I feel like it's going to be in different inflection points. You know what I mean? Just from having experienced it like over the years, different inflection points, whether it be 2012 or 2016 when Trump got elected or his run to presidency. I felt like it was different inflection points in the consciousness, and then 2020 obviously. And I feel like we're gonna come up here on like another. There's other ones that aren't small. I guess whether it's like the Ukraine war or the Israel thing or whatever it is. Like those is like I feel like inflection points as well. But obviously not as big as like something like a COVID or 9/11 or you know the housing market crash of 2008. You know what I mean?
World
Stuff
War
like that.
II.
Yeah, stuff like that. The bigger inflection points, and I think we're on our way into a bigger one, and I'd rather be more selective with my words, more choice with my words because um, I feel like I don't want to compete. I just wanted to be clear, and I don't want to detract from myself. By saying too much, I feel like I detracted from myself. Like whereas, well, because if I'm on weed and stuff or acid or whatever it is, like I could just crank out posts or whatever because I'm just there, kind of like in a forced stillness, but still stillness nonetheless. So like I can like just dump a bunch of shit or whatever. Whereas like I feel like now I'm really getting into the awareness of what ins and outs are of me. Like where it's like okay, this is a period of just accepting, accepting help, accepting experiences, accepting the moment at hand or whatever the ingredients that's available, and then later on, I feel like it'll just come back around where I'll accept the responsibility of communicating what I've learned or what I'm seeing, without any obstruction. You know what I mean? Instead of like kind of just dumping everything that's already, it's not appropriated. You know what I mean? I feel like it was fine for what that time, but it's not really appropriated. Like I feel like it just got to hit universally. Like certain artists, you know what I mean? I feel like they can stay relevant and tap into certain shit. Like because they know like all right, this is the time when this is we can remake this song, we can redo this, or we can make a song that has this kind of that reaches this kind of climate of consciousness and vibe or whatever. So
Hmm.
what I mean, I'm not trying to force it. You know, like I feel like there's plenty of people that just gonna be like, I'm making the shit that I want to make instead of like making the shit that I want to make too, but also making universal shit that like is keeping me relevant, and then I can really connect with everybody that wants wants that more personalized shit for me too. Because like being universal, I feel like allows you to get a more broad audience to where you can, get the ear of enough people to where not everybody's gonna give a fuck, but you're gonna get enough attention to get like to build on that core audience that's like really in it for like your personal perspective or whatever you do,
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of what I feel like I'm focused on now.
Well,
Just
it's a real audience.
being more universal and appropriate. You know what I mean? Because I know at different times it's not like I was always inappropriate. It's just that I'll be inappropriate and then appropriate, then inappropriate, then appropriate, and then it would just be a bunch of shit. Whereas like I feel like I just want to be consistently just appropriate to where because mad times people will be like, yo, I was just thinking this, or I'm going through this, or people are like more universally accepting what I'm saying because it's like it's kind of like the Tupac syndrome where he was saying like, yo, I'm just I'm just speaking the life that most motherfuckers is going through. So people feel it. You know what I mean? And I think if you can just stay connected to that, then then you can always stay relevant. You know what I mean? And get new people. Whereas like certain people are only going to get a certain generation of audience, and they might have a big core enough to live off of them, but they're not really getting new people. You know what I mean? They're not getting the youth. You know?
Which really kind of matters the most.
Yeah,
Youth matters.
yeah.
Man, I mean, the real audience and like this keeps getting back to significance and meaning. Like when I'm thinking about because it's not like we're on a limb or anything. Though talking about life and like just what am I gonna do here with this energy? Because this is a lot of focus. This is a lot of like energy and attention and focus going into an undertaking. Do you feel like this is your undertaking? Do you feel like you have like I guess the undertaking is just acceptance and like being the down and like whatever life has given you. I feel like you've, you've gone through a lot or no. I mean, it's a blank yes.
I mean, yo, it's really wild, man. Like as far as like breaking the curses, I think is like a big part of why I'm existing.
Mm-hmm.
Just breaking these generational curses that is in my blood, and anybody else that might have some similar kind of curse, it might help them because I don't know. I feel like I can see the cycles, and I can see like how you can get locked in and get sucked into it so crazily, like what I mean. But like, cause
Locked into what?
like the just repeating the whole loop all over again, man.
Yeah, yeah, the curse. Okay.
It's easy. It's like it's not. It's very difficult. You know what I mean? Because you're torn apart inside, but like there's like a certain like comfort and familiarity with the loop, and the people that come with that, or the vessels that can facilitate you staying in it, And so I see it, and I feel like I see it, and I be trying not to be too neurotic about it or too paranoid about it, but at the same time, I don't really want to deny any signals that I get. But I be seeing it, man. I be seeing the times when I like my body is like on a fucking roller coaster, and then like my will is like we have to get off this roller coaster. Like you have to stop this. You know what I mean? And it's like you can just stay on that shit, and then you get divided inside, and I feel like it's like these core decisions, like daily decisions, like that you got to just step away from the fear. You know what I mean? I feel like with females, it's really obvious. I think females really that's like the cool thing about them, whether it's good or bad.
The arena.
I think yeah, they give you a nice insight on that, like where you can see like Uh, am I being myself? Am I really being honest all day? Am I fighting myself? Am I just going with what's comfortable and what's going to bring about a course that's familiar? And it's a crazy thing. It's like a contract in my body that I haven't really decoded, or a bunch of them. You know what I mean? But it's like I gotta do one by one. Like I gotta like say, all right, this is the way I've been speaking to myself and affirming this, and this has been buried in my blood. To behave this way and to approach life this way, and I have to create a new contract and void that other one and veto that other one, and go move on to the next one and the next one. And it's like the body, it's like such a shock to the equilibrium of the body, because it's like just following a course, you know what I mean? And so when you like shake that up, it feels like it makes my blood itch almost,
Hmm.
to like break up the monotony of the loop, you know what I mean? Like to really be like, okay, no, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have to accept this fear, and I'm gonna have to accept, this feeling of not knowing, even though I really know. You know what I mean? It's like a funny paradox in a way, like where like I might be fucking with a chick, and I know it's wrong in ways that I can't. It's hard for me to explain, and it's hard for me to explain because I haven't really decoded the contract yet enough to explain it. You know what I mean? To where it doesn't offend nobody, because that's what I really feel like I'm practicing. Like I don't really want to be offensive. People are gonna be offended, but it's not. I'm not going to be. You know what I mean? Because at times I be like, I'm gonna just be crass about it, and I don't give a fuck if I'm offensive. Now I just really want to just be direct, to where if people are offended, that's them, feeling that way. It's not because I was offensive. I was just saying the reality, and if they have a problem with it, that's their problem. You know, what I mean. Whereas like I felt like before, I'd be like forcing it, where I have to get into arguments or make the person my enemy, or shit like that, in order to get the point across, because I felt like I had to do that to generate separation, and I feel like it just bound me tighter and tighter. So now I feel like I can, the fear is always there. Like, yo, if I say what I really feel or what I really think or what I really know, I'm gonna, this is gonna create a beef. But really, though, if you just find the most direct way to say it, it never does.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I feel like it's, and then I feel like that's the fear part, where you just quit. For me, I would just quit. Where I'd be like, guys, no, this without starting a fight. So I'd be like, I'm too tired to fight, man. But then the fight just stays inside of me. You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck, if I'm either gonna be inside of me resisting and fighting, or I'm gonna just have to say this shit and be direct, and then risk this, possibility that the person is gonna want to be combative with me. But I feel like I'm getting better at like not coming off emotional, to where it's just like there's emotion involved though. Like I'm not just like dead, but I'm just like not being led by the emotion, to where it's like, hey man, you know, listen, lady, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm feeling, these are the signs that I'm getting. This is what this is what I get from other people when I can see them observing us or me while I'm in this uh intimacy with you. You know what I mean? And I can see that, that this, I'm gathering certain information from this, and this is what I'm gathering, and through that, I'm making this conclusion. So, what do you think? Put the ball in their court. I
Yep.
feel like, just doing it like that, instead of like, I don't know. Before I would just be like, man, I'm just gonna be really abrasive at some point, and eventually just cut them off and shut it down all at once. You know, and just cut that shit off completely and harshly, instead
Hmm.
of just being gradually upfront about it. I would be like, look, I don't feel like fighting, so I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna save face, and then I'm gonna wait for an opportunity to just dump everything all at once, and really, like, dump them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like, that just kept me in a cycle of like getting back in relationships with somebody else that's gonna bring me back to the same opportunity to be honest again. And it's like I might as well just be honest now instead of going through all that again. Because
All right.
I feel like it never got worse. You know what I mean? Like
But you see,
every,
you get closer, you just see what you would do next time.
yeah, it's gonna bring me right back to the same place. It might be a different chick with a different name, different complexion, different hair, whatever the fuck. But I'm still gonna be the same motherfucker. So, because I haven't really like completed what I needed to complete.
Yep.
So, it doesn't matter. It's not really about them. You know what I mean? They are who they are because of who I am or who I'm not being.
Well,
And yeah,
it's a lot of reference experience though, like because each time you're getting closer to doing what you're supposed to do, and when you don't get to that point though, you see what you did. It's like it's like a game board, like or like some sort of with a layout. You figure out what happens at that turn, and you're just through trial. You're just figuring out more and more of everything that you're about to do when you do finally complete the mystery or break the curse or complete the cycle.
yeah, like, I don't know, like I'll be holding it in, you know what I mean? And then it forces me to be either passive or conniving. And then I see the world like that, like everybody's passive and conniving. Because I'll just be like fucking with a bitch, and I'll be like, she did this wrong, or this is wrong, or I acknowledge that this is wrong, and I'm like, there's no way this bitch is gonna understand it. But really, it's like if I understand it, then I have to find a way to express it, and she'll understand it. You know what I mean? And if she don't, once I fully express it, it'll just be easier for me to walk away anyway. If she
All
don't
right.
understand.
In
You
a
know,
way, that's harmonizing to both you and the others.
yeah, and I just feel like every time I've been like I don't know, I wait so long to be honest, and I feel like now I'm just getting better at just catching it earlier and earlier and earlier. Like it's not like it's just a delay in the honesty. You know what I mean? And it creates a bunch of lag in my life and every other way. Nothing else flows like it's supposed to. And every chick been better than the last chick. You know what I mean? In like certain
Naturally.
ways. You know what I mean? And I feel like the more honest I am, the more of a match it is for me. And it's like more challenging because you know the the exterior has a certain pressure about it, right? Where it's like you're a certain age, the world is the way it is. I position myself away from society or whatever it is, but it's like, man, there's no way you can hide from life, really. So I can't really be afraid and like try to cling to stuff. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's kind of what happens when I'm just like, damn, well, I mean, is there something better? You know what I mean? I never experienced nothing better yet. So am I just being foolish? But every time I was just patient and let my body reset and really listen to my body, it brought me, better experiences. You know what I mean? And I just have to be prepared to accept whatever comes with the truth. You know what I mean? If it doesn't bring me intimate relationships in that way, then I have to accept that. Like, if that's what comes with the truth, that's what I have to live with. You know what I mean? Like anything else, I'm not really gonna be living anyway.
Boom.
You
Because
know?
the significance and meaning is right here. Like apart from all these other things, the fullness of expression, the totality of your being that you see in these better experiences. How do you even say there's better experiences? And it's this like, oh, you go through so much contrast.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced the seamlessness, like fleeting ways, where like I don't have to translate myself because me and the other person are not separate. There's like an understanding there, understanding whatever, and so there's no translation necessary. Like we just there, we're present. They can feel what I'm feeling what they feeling. We observing life and going about the activities in the day and observing life, you know. But so I've experienced like flashes of it, you know, and like some periods of like kind of I guess like prolonged flashes, but so I kind of know it exists, you know what I mean? I just know that like I don't want to be translating all my life, you know what I mean? Because it'll force me into a like a dialogue all the time. And, you know what I mean? And I don't feel like there's a problem with talking, like if it needs to be done, but I just feel like it creates a bunch of it's ultimately a lot of unnecessary talking. You know, I think a lot talking is more so just confirmation. Like, yo, you felt that, you heard that, you saw that. You know what I mean? I don't think it should come down to me having to fucking translate the whole experience.
Yeah. Well, that's that's like okay, so if you having to translate something, that means like you're somewhere that the other person isn't, and you're trying to like get them there. Like
Yeah, yeah. And
like
how can
this.
they?
There, go for it.
I was just saying, how can they get there? You know what I mean? Like they're not there, then they're not there. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like,
see, that's for what I was saying.
yeah, like I don't know. It's like it's just not a match. You know, like I feel like even though I have no examples around me of like what I feel like a match really is, or what I feel like I know it somewhere inside me. Even though I don't have external examples, I feel like I know what it isn't. You know,
Mhm.
and it's like, how can you like nobody can force me to know certain things. Like I feel like I can understand like common human things. You know, I go to other places in the world and I might not know the language, but I can tell when things are wrong or when people are arguing or when something needs there's something missing or something like that. Like you can sense that, but then like you don't want to be translating everything, you know? It's like you can have the core stuff down, but then it's like how much time are you going to spend in translation
Mhm.
when you know you could actually just be building instead of like constantly having to go back to like this means this and that means that and this is that and you
You see,
know and yeah.
well, what now? Here we are with human consciousness. Like human consciousness, and again, because I'm still working with psychology, like looking at psychology, the human mind, and kind of where we're at with the development of the mind and the psyche, and how there's undeveloped parts of the psyche. We'll call people call sometimes parts of it like the subconscious, superconscious. But this identity or this persona or this not even an ego, but whatever we'll call it, we'll just call it like an identity for now, or just an individual identity. I said, yo, you're in one place trying to explain to this person where you're at. You're translating yourself. So being in different so-called places, you're alienated. Like being so far from the collective consciousness or the collective idea of what's been set for people to believe who they are. You're so far away from that to where you are aware of yourself in this other way that's alien to these people, to where you have to translate it. But so this alienation, this human consciousness, the human mind, like
I mean I just feel like you know there
to the individuating.
my bad you broke up I didn't know what'd you say.
Oh, so I'm okay. I'm saying if I'm alienated, if I'm far away, for just in terms of me feeling like there's a collective consciousness. Did you hear what I said about the collective consciousness?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so so now getting away from the collective idea of like who I am. So I'm going to the unknown of my subconscious mind. I'm going to even if it is these unknown parts of me I could have some fear, anxiety about. There's some unknowns that I got to figure out in the subconscious. So I'm getting to this point where I'm seeing, okay, in the mystery, in the unknown, I'm realizing more of who I am. My personality is shifting and aligning with the truth. The more I'm just leaning into what is this, And so now my persona, my sense of self is far apart from most people. And so this is the part where I see the inadequacies. Like I'm seeing the inadequacies of my extroverted ego self that was thinking about things in all these ways in a conscious way. This is my conscious mind, you know. Though once this starts to undo itself, then a deeper part starts to reveal about, and it's way more full. It's way more full being of who I am, that comes out of being alienated like this, and then from and this seems like, if anybody's following, because it could be kind of obscure still, but then humans can interact with each other without having to deal with all the sublinguistic programs that are stemming from the subconscious part of the mind that has to do with an offshoot of the more primal reality, that everybody's already at. But how aware are you? This is like this, the indwelling, the God, the God within, you know, that each person really has this, and you seem to be really close to it, Taylor. Like, as far as just, getting towards the unconditioned side, the unconditioned mind, just being familiar with this level of being has nothing to do with educational background, environment, or even family. This is a gnosis. If we're even cultivating, imagine if you just only focused on your imaginative and mythopoeic abilities alone, and you're sitting up on the mountain like Pythagoras for a second, and you're like, this seems like your destiny. This is what this is what I've chose. Like, for sure, I'm gonna focus on that and getting there, because once everything's balanced on in Earth, as far as all the obligations and stuff, just the closing of the cycles, whatever entrapments or endless obligations that I've contracted my way into. Once all of this is solved, and then you can focus on what actually matters with meaning and significance and human consciousness. Like, yes, the work's cut out for you, and there's all these little things in the day. There's basically never enough time, and then there's always a conflict, like if we're not ignoring the world, then there's always going to be something to where you're being called, to meet whatever the situation is, externally. You're meeting it from wherever you're at internally, but also, it's almost like fulfilling a role, playing a role that has to do with this karmic or breaking these curses or whatever. Though, but until we get to the point where we can, like, enough people have confronted their subconscious mind and just became conscious of the unconscious, or enough of it to where they're able to realize themselves, to get to that fullness of being and communicate with other people about that fullness, and then everybody can get to this point of complete expression, and then the entire thing can express itself through everybody realizing themselves individually as the unique ones, and then to the next level, and then it probably keeps going, and it's not even that it probably keeps going. It's just that I can't know, and it's almost like I don't want to be a chess piece. No one wants to be a chess piece. No one wants to be called a chess piece. You know, or even controlled opposition. I'm just hearing about that. I'm just thinking about that today. Like, just what would it like you can actually be a controlled opposition, like something that the government is sanctioning, is like your behavior is sanctioned because we're using you and your behavior to deal with. Yeah, it's just. But that seems like what's going on. Like, or if there is this being that is aware of everything that's all happening at once, like orchestrating it, just putting it like, this person's gonna link up with these people at this time and in this period, while on this side there's these other groups, but all at once is happening. And then where can I like offer myself up to that? I feel like that's something that Alex Jones offered himself up to. Like he's like talking about all these crazy dreams, like that he's seeing in his sleep, and he's like, yeah, I mean, and I guess a lot of people say it, like people who do make pretty big impacts are like, yeah, this thing, it'll give you an assignment. He was like, yeah, this thing's just giving out assignments, and you could just take it, like, yep, whatever that comes with, boom, I'll take it, and then you're on like a huge scale of impact, for better or for worse. I don't know, but it seems to be something you could participate in. And though, but do you want to? Is it conflict? Is it still an illusion? Are you maybe like your own agent? As much as you're just being sincere with your own life, like you could be. Oh my gosh, you could be living in a whole other situation. Gosh dang it, dude! Fucking naked person, the fuck out of here! I'm so tired of seeing naked people in LA, bro. Just out in public. God dang it! Duh!
Yeah,
I'll be
that's all right.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll be nearsighted, so things blurry. But I mean, yeah, this is I feel it coming up. Like I can't ignore certain things. Like I see the behavior of some people. Even like, gosh dang it, I see this type of behavior in the streets, and then you see the subconscious mind. It's only anything that everyone's ever been fucking suppressing generationally. Like everyone's gonna continue to suppress, and this is how you can know the next epoch. You prophesize epochs just looking at how people treat their subconscious mind. Like that's just what's gonna pop up. Whatever we've been ignoring is just gonna pop up historically
Yeah,
and at these inflection points.
yeah, it's a funny thing, man, because like I guess you just got to be okay, you're secure with yourself, and know how to set things up, correctly. Because like I don't know, it's like the one time I was asking Pharaoh on a podcast, like, yo, man, say who controls this or who controls that or whatever. And he's like, it's not time yet. And I get it though now, like, because now with the way it is, I've seen this dude, man. He got a page like got like 150,000 subs, and I'm like, man, he's saying a lot of the same shit that motherfuckers been saying. UBTV had been saying this shit. They fucking his channel got deleted. You know, bad people's shit got deleted for probably saying the same shit. But now it reached a point where you can say it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, he happens to be in a space where he can say it, but I feel like he doesn't articulate it like a motherfucker that been knowing it a longer period of time, like UBTV. And like it's just funny. Like I'm looking at this shit like, damn, like they sanctioned this behavior and this rhetoric right now, and you can talk like this for this period of time. And I remember years ago, man, on YouTube, years ago, this shit was around. I just, all those people must have got like swept up in waves of deletion.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like you really gotta like see the ebb and flow of things to where like when to not bite your tongue, but when to only speak in certain forms, where you set it up to where if people want to speak to you privately and they want to get information from you privately, then they can, and you just leave the trail
Yeah.
out there for them to come to you. You know what I mean? And you just have to accept that if they made it that far, then they're actually going to do something about their life and change their life. They're not. It's just not just entertainment for them. You know. So I feel like you really got to get, I think, more content with making the correct connections. More direct connections and real connections. So like it's not just broad and then it comes out like how I was listening to this dude talk about all the shit we've been saying for years, man. The Khazars and the Caesars and all of that. And I'm just like, man, I got all my books banned off of Amazon. But now you can just openly talk about this because with the way with the way the Israel conflict is now, it's at a place it reached an inflection point to where that wall's broken down now. At least for a period, if not indefinitely, is broken down to where you can talk like this, and it's like you just got to really like hold your chips. You know what I mean? Play your chips at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it really is just about like congruent ingredients, man. Like what's really precious to you, like it got to really match, like, or you kind of can't even really speak anyway, man. Like you're not gonna really hear each other anyway, and that's what I feel like for me as far as like intimate relationships, be it females or anybody, I mean, I just feel like the things that I endear, the things that I hold valuable, that's precious to me, if I have to explain why it's precious, then it's already a problem.
Huh.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know, it should already be understood, that we met because of what we value. This, we have a mutual respect for something, and it's within us to where
Yeah.
you don't have to, it's not like something you have to necessarily say is there. Because, what I mean? I don't know. It's funny, man. I feel like I always get dragged into the race thing, or I drag myself into it, but it be true, man. Like, as far as understanding goes, I mess with different shades of chicks. Certain things is understood and certain things are not understood.
Hmm.
And it just is what it is, man. And like, it's nice when you can be in a scenario where you don't have to talk about, like, an event might happen and you don't have to say like, oh yeah, he did this because of that, or she did this because of that. You already know. So we're already past that. We can talk about what's the next thing that we can actually do to remedy, or to solve the situation. Like, and instead of having to explain the situation, we can go right
Yeah.
into solving it.
Like what the other like explaining it just seems like such a waste of time when you see it right next to just the option of solving it immediately under a mutual understanding or mutual knowing. It's like knowing.
Yeah, like, I've been with chicks, and it'd be great when you can turn over and look at them and say like, "Oh, she know." I don't have to say anything. She already knows, man. And the same thing with dudes. You know what I mean? They be knowing different things. You know what I mean? Generally, it's like, for me, it'd be certain kind of guys. You know what I mean? Like certain age groups, they might not. They might just know shit, and I'm like, "Oh, this is great. We don't even have to talk about that. We could talk.
Mhm.
We can actually go really more into ourselves, because we don't have to go. You know what I mean? We don't have to, like, because it's like becomes like a joust. Like, how do you, like, because you want to somehow bring something up or point out an obvious if they don't know it without offending them. And it's like, damn, you don't. This is not registering to you because either you haven't had this experience, or there's something inside of you that's not there, that's inside of me, and now I have to translate this part to you, and you might it might create, just in this process of translation, is going to create separation, or the separation just be realized.
Mhm.
you know and so I think that, I don't know, I'm just at a point where I'm just like, it's really difficult, I feel like, but at the same time, it's all over. If you get to that point, right, you really meet the one that matches, then it's all over at that point, and now you got a whole fucking laundry list of other new challenges. So it's like no real rush, but it feels like it though. You know what I'm saying? Because the external pressures, but like, it's like, this is all tailored to what I need, and as long as I respect myself, then I'm gonna continue to align with what I need. And so, like, I just feel like with women, it's like, it's really it's really like a specific match. As far, you know what I mean. So you
Well,
don't
was
want
the
to,
match?
yeah, you don't want to force that. And if it never was supposed to come, then you got another whole different type of pressure, and you just got to be happy that you don't have some other kind of pressure.
Well, you said challenges. It's like new challenges that you get when it's a better match. Are these challenges? This might be the last time I use a word, but I'm not gonna limit myself to that. But are these? Would you say they're more meaningful challenges, or it's not even relevant to that? Like, cause, but it just feels like if it really is an actual match and you're like around who you're actually meant or supposed to be around in terms of just like, you resonate, then you're actually, the challenges that will come to you there, the fulfillment you'll get from completing those challenges will be way better than ones to where you feel like you're just communicating for this separated part. Like, because it really just doesn't seem like it's really reality. Like, let me pull out the notes here.
Like, you've been on a team before, a good team. I'm sure you've been on a good team at some point in your life where you like, yo, all we got to do is not fuck it up. You know what I mean? Just be ourselves. Do what we do. You do what you do. I'll do my role, and we won't fuck it up. There's no way we can lose if we just do what we already supposed to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think you know what I mean. That's the best way I can relate it. You know?
You see, I'm pulling up these notes here because I'm figuring something out maybe because it's saying so just because this is just in general like most people like irrespective of their religious and philosophical beliefs, most people nourish certain unconscious assumptions pertaining to the human condition which do not spring from the formulative focused agencies of consciousness but which radiate from a deep unconscious substrata of the mind. um, Human life does not fulfill its promise within the structures and the establishments of society, for all these are at best but shadowy projections of another and more fundamental reality. And I feel like there's a real fundamental reality that, or even most ideas there's the mind and then different parts of it, or there's the world and then different systems in the world. And like I was saying that even the Greek word cosmos, like last time we were talking, the Greek word cosmos or world, you think it means world, but it also means system. And like, I'm saying that people, the human mind, is like prone to confusing systems with reality. And when you're having conversations with most people about whatever it is, like if there's no distinction that's been made between the Earth itself, or like the world Earth itself, and then the systems that are established on Earth, like people will think that the systems are reality, and then be thinking and talking from there. There's no communicating about reality there. Like I feel like that's when you meet, like if you do meet somebody who just doesn't know, or just doesn't know certain things, to where you're like, okay, you just can't, you don't have access to certain conversations just because certain things aren't known or understood at that point. But until we get there, or it's not until we get there, but until it's realized, I guess, then all the conversations, or just all the problems, they seem futile, or just any trying to solve problems, because it's not even any problems themselves, but it's just a situation from which we realize we need to extricate ourselves with insight.
Yeah, I mean, this is like you're not having them conversations because it's like the designs. You know, like you have to really humble yourself and like sacrifice or like forego a lot of securities and comforts or whatever, or like comfort. You know what I mean? A lot of future comforts in order to have understanding that is not really active in your body. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Denzel Washington was talking about that shit. He was
Mhm.
like he was talking about like he was talking about how hot combs used to be back in the day. You know what I mean? I used to put it on the on the fucking on the stove. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like he was just talking about how the culture, like if I'd say certain things about the hot comb and the sounds and like licking your finger or whatever and touching the comb and everything. If I say that shit, a certain generation of people is like a light in their body. You know what I mean? Their body, like I know this. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to say no more. You know what I mean? Like, and the reason that they have that experience is because their makeup, though, whatever it is they're experiencing. You know what I mean? If you're a Rothschild, you are exposed to certain experiences that prone to experience. You know what I mean? Like, so like it's that it's like only way that they would ever be able to step away from that, they would have to forego all of those comforts. And the only way somebody with a soul would ever be able to step into that clone shit, they'd have to sacrifice their soul. So it's like a huge exchange. I feel like that has to happen. That um, you know, generally, I feel like it's most people will never do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like my dad, in some respects, he kind of did it in a way because the way he fucking took shit on the chin for years, bro, nobody would do that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and so he was afforded certain things that like all his brothers and sisters would never experience. You know what I mean? Because they never was humble enough to experience that. You know what I mean? They never would just like keep their head down and just keep grinding through. And they would be like, "Nah, fuck this," a long time ago. So he
Hmm.
saw shit that his brothers and sisters, his generation of people, would never, his contemporaries in his bloodline, they would have never experienced that stuff. They would never even have their perspective would never be able to be widened at all. And I still feel like my dad's perspective is still pretty narrow. I'm just saying, like, he did a lot just to expand it a little bit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then so I just think like the amount that if certain experiences and understanding isn't there, the amount of concessions that's needed is like, man, I don't even know, bro. You almost have to like throw away your life in a way, like the life that you would have had, you know. And you got to really be like on some like, all right, whatever. I got more life to spare type shit. And for a lot of people, like the things that they have to give up in order to really understand it, but not only understand it, to like really support the perspective and embody it. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to like give up everything. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like you talk to people that I feel like it's funny for me because I run into pale people all the time, and they look at me like I can help them. I'm like, dog, you know what I gotta do? You never gonna give this shit up. You're never gonna give this shit up. Don't even come to me with that. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to find your own route because I don't even have the things to give up that you have. I got mad shit to give up already on my own, and you got even more to give up. And I'm like, look, I can't help you. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have that's tailored to you. Like I really can't even speak on that to help. Because I feel like a lot of times pale people, be wanting guidance from me because they see themselves in me, and I'm like, look, man, there's just enough of a difference here for me to be in this position, and for you to feel like you can get guidance here. You know what I mean? Like, so that difference there, you know, is enough. Is enough there for me to not really be able to help you though at the same time because we got a different predisposition. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not. I'm not saying mine is the same as somebody else, but it's a difference there. And when it comes to women, I just feel like it's immensely difficult because bitches or women they get so much without thinking about it. So for you to tell them like, yo, you have to give this up, especially if they're coming from a certain ilk or a certain bloodline, rather, they're not. They might even verbally commit to sacrificing the shit, but when it comes down to it, and it boils down to it,
It's not enough reason.
yeah, it's gonna be they're already in a deeper contract that they're on a course that you just like, I can't, I'm not gonna stick my head out there. I'm already on the chopping block. I can't go out any further. You know what I mean? Like I can't help you. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying? I can only like give some my perspective, and I think it's helpful to a range of people. You know what I mean? For some people, they already knew they never needed it, but and some people already knew that they was never gonna sacrifice nothing. So they did, you know what I mean? It's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just live out my clone life. You know what I mean? And it's just funny, like as far as like women is concerned, I think they think that they know what they have to give up. It's like my dad. I always like bring up my dad because he had no idea. I feel like he was so oblivious that was the only way it could happen. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He didn't know what black life was. You know what I'm saying? My mom looking the way she does, he thought that he just got like a light skinned chick or something. Like, no, bro. You know what I'm saying? She coming from some thugged out like living. You know what I mean? So you thought that, maybe because she looked this way or because maybe you met in a more humble circumstance. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, you met my mom in the hospital because she got shot. what did you think you signing up for? You know what I mean? You know
Oh,
what I'm
damn,
saying?
I didn't. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I know you thought like maybe she just was in the crossfire, but yeah, but she's in the crossfire because motherfuckers shooting. Yeah, they shooting at my uncles, her brothers. You're gonna be around these people and what they do, their afflictions, their everything. You know what I mean? They're gonna speak their mind around you. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like just black people at the grocery store. You know what I mean? Where you just can like be away from them while you next to them. Like, you know, and I just feel like that's the tough part to explain it. It's so difficult, you know what I mean? And I feel like any woman that gets it, a lot of the time, you know, they're gonna go up the ladder in melanin, and I'm not gonna stop them. So like, it's a funny balance where I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I wonder what life really got in store for me. If it if there is no woman, then it does free up a lot of space to just learn everything I can about me as an individual and transmit that to the world for for whatever that whatever benefit that can have. But
Yep.
you know, it's just a funny thing, man. I feel like I never started fucking with white chicks or pale chicks rather until after 22. You know what I mean? Before that, it was all mixed chicks, Spanish chicks, black chicks. I had like maybe one white chick. My whole life. You know what I mean? Like they never fuck with me, you know what I mean? Because I was like white trash or something. You know what I mean? I was like a wigger to them. And I was like, yo, you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't know me. You just think I look like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm anybody. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? I don't expect you to know me, you know what I mean? Especially now, I'm going out into away from my family and where I grown up. I can't expect people to know me and my history. So like, I don't even expect it, you know what I mean? But when I be when I'm dealing with them, like with pale chicks, I feel like at this point, you know what I mean? Like it's a funny, I don't know, it's a funny thing that I feel like I've seen. Like if they've reached me, they've gone through certain things typically to even get to me. And
Yeah.
like, so either like a bunch of black dudes ran through them or they just so sick of white dudes being, effeminate or something or being too rednecky that they give me a shot and
Mm.
they think that it's going to be some safety there. You know what I mean? Because I'm not dark skinned. You know what I mean? Well, it's like, no, you know what I mean? You're not really it's not gonna, you're not getting in any real safety because I'm not as dark as them. You know what I mean? We're still not the same. I'm not as dark as them, but we're still not the same. And
Mhm.
like, I don't know. I feel like each shade has like a predisposition of experiences.
Well, this is, of
You know?
course, like as a genetic story. It's a genetic background. It's all the story and experiences, that are gonna be. You're gonna have these different shades, I guess, or types of, or like general types maybe of people, and it's definitely like a self-identified cultural position. Like, people do kind of cling to these identities. Like, okay, I really am like this type of girl. Like, even Latinas is cool to see. You know, but it's, yeah. I really, I like the, there's, I don't know, there's observable differences that you can, like a comedian, you can have a great comedy bit about, dating different shades, really, because there's a specific thing with each one, but Pale Man is it's just, for me, it's always just felt like, it's the least challenging, or like the least, it's just the most already, well, I don't know if it's docility, compliance, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like they just suck energy up, you know what I mean? Generally speaking, you know what I mean? Generally speaking. But
Just
like,
whatever,
yeah,
like whatever the energy is, they just be there for it.
yeah, but like,
Not really acting crazy.
yeah, and it's like, it's a crazy thing, man. Like, it's just difficult because any melanated chick in America that's multilingual, she probably go to Yale or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? She already get it like wiped up. You know what I mean? It's gonna be
Yep.
tough for them to have like that kind of clarity in their brain. to really run it. I mean, it's not that many of them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, and they usually operate in like a certain state of bouginess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas, like, you go to Africa or Europe or India, where most people speak two or more languages, and like, it's like it's great. It's great to have that, but then you have these distinct differences because they're from over there and you from over here. And I'm like, how can I? Because like, I always thought like, man, yeah, passport bros. You know what I mean? Maybe it's possible, but then it's like you got to translate the American experience into them, and there's no way, man. They'll never understand it. Like I'll fuck with chicks from Europe, and they don't even really know who Malcolm X is. They just know Martin Luther King. They might have heard of Malcolm X, but they don't really know. They never seen a Spike Lee movie. You know what I'm saying? They don't know who Spike Lee is, and it's like this is too much explaining. Like this was on in my house when I was, you know what I mean? When I was growing up, it was the '90s. This was just on. This was on like TNT or some shit. This was
Mm.
on, or the VHS was in the house. You know what I mean? But the VHS was in the house because I had a proximity to melanin. You know what I mean? To where it was some inside me and a lot around me. To where you know what I mean? This is just normal. Well, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like the chicks that might know about this in America or some of this culture in America, ignorant as fuck in the ways that, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, it sucks. You know this culture, but the culture's so fucked up that you're so ignorant and don't know no languages and don't really have a drive to continue to learn, really. Whereas,
Man.
like, you might meet a chick from Asia, Europe, or Africa, and she want to learn, and she might not be bougie, and she might be okay with being, off the grid or something. But then it's just that Americanness is just not there. Just like where is the fucking sweet spot? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm holding out for it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, damn, man, it might not exist, but
um,
I
America's
rather I
uh,
rather wait. I rather wait as long as I can.
yeah, bro, I feel like if you hang out in America, I feel like these people will show up eventually in this cultural mixing zone that's pretty cool. Like I like, man, these preferences is tough. Though America being American, you remember when ASAP put the American flag behind him on that album?
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well,
ASAP Rocky. It's a bunch of
man,
ASAP, isn't it?
this was like, it was like, yeah, ASAP Rocky. Like 10 years ago, he had these his debut stuff, or if it was like 2012 or whatever the fuck. But it's just like why are you repping America? Like what's up with this? And I don't know, like you got the whole conversation of like the Eastern yoga, or the Eastern mind, and then it's almost like that's the introverted side of consciousness, and then the Western mind is like the extroverted. Everyone's hyper individualist. And this is like, do you think America is the only place in the world that people could really do that historically, or do this, do some type of individualist lifestyle?
Nah, man. It's like they gotta get broken into certain experiences. You know what I mean? And they gotta hit them at the right times. You know what I mean? Because like I remember I used to fuck. I didn't fuck with her, right? Like we used to hang tough. It was my best friend's girl. We used to hang tough. It'd be like me, my girl, him, his girl. But then
Mm.
we broke up. I broke up with my girl. He broke up with her, and then we would just still hang out. You know what I mean? But I never fucked her or nothing, right? And she knew like Spanish fluently. You know what I mean? And she's a black chick. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm like, I know this shit's possible, but you're just so fucking bougie though. At the same time, you know what I mean? That is like, it'd be tough to get you to like go into the garden and get your fingers nails dirty. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I'd be like, damn, my experiences is reinforcing this limitation, and I gotta like not ever really live in the past because
Oh
my
man.
past is not helping. You know what I mean? And it lets me know that it can be possible, though. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't know. There's something like it. They're just highly sought after. You know what I mean? Because it's such a rare. It's like a Dragon Ball, man. You run into a black chick, they'll be like, you run into a black chick that's like, yeah, I know Arabic fluently, you know what I mean? And she's not like a hateful ass Muslim, you know what I mean? She's like, yeah, I just wanted to learn it. Or she is a Muslim and she's just not hateful somehow. Because they're generally gonna be, man. You know what I'm saying? Generally. I'm just speaking in general.
Yeah.
Generally, they're gonna look at it like, I hate everything pale, even if they light skinned. I hate everything pale. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, you so concerned with hate is driving you, and you did learn some things on the way, but the hate is consuming you still. You know what I mean? Like, I
See,
don't know.
this is why music. I see music coming through is about to unify. I mean, music has always unified people, but I mean, imagine if you don't even need to explain anything. It's all here in the music video.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, for me, I'm looking at like, I was pretty much illiterate until I read the Meta Netter. I feel like I read books before, don't get me wrong, and I had periods in time in my youth when I was advanced in my reading, but then I got so far away from reading because I was so poisoned. But I feel like it wasn't until like 21, 22, when I'm reading the Meta Netter, when I'm like, actually, my brain, the cognition is there, and I'm starting to understand words and etymology better. And like, I feel like if I can come from that place where I was at mentally, where I was really I didn't know language at all, man. I was really only knew language kind of off of imitation and verbally. I didn't really know a lot of words, how to spell them. I didn't know the etymology of them. I didn't know the roots of the words. I knew some shit because my mom was a teacher, so I did know some shit. There was people that had less understanding than me, but that to me that's not a good barometer because where I was at was very ignorant still. And like I feel like though, since I came from that place and I'm where I'm at now with my cognition, I know it's possible because I was a fucking baboon, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm still kind of a baboon when I look at language. I'm like, damn, this is a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like it's worth it every day getting better in small ways and just seeing daily progress. Motivation comes from that. And like, I feel like by 2026, I should be pretty fluent in Hebrew. And I feel like I've done enough Latin etymology and I'm continue to. Surrounding myself with a lot of resources in those regards to where by 2026, like, because it's the year of the horse, right? So like my dad was born the year of the horse, I was born the year of the horse, his dad's born the year of the horse, his dad's born the year of the horse. I feel
Cool.
like if I break the chain and don't have a kid that year, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then it could be a new pasture. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it is just
You.
learning. Yeah, learning language, learning how to communicate with myself better, more and more, getting out of my own way more and more. If I'm doing that and I'm coming from complete baboon status to like less baboon status, then I know it's possible for other people. It's just like the drive has to be there, They can't have no laziness there. You know what I mean? And I think that's if they don't have to be a finished product. They just have to have that drive. And then I know it's possible and I don't have to, you know, I don't have to be like looking at the lack of it. Like, bitch, you don't know 7 languages, bitch. You know I fuck bitches that know 7 languages and do MMA. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the comparison is going to destroy everything. But as long as the drive is there, and the health, then if the health isn't there, then the youth has to be there to counter that. So they don't get, so they ain't 30 and unhealthy, but have some drive. That's not going to work either. They either got to be young with the drive or healthy with the drive. And then I think it don't really matter. Then you can meet in the middle. I don't think they have to be finished product. You know what I mean? Because like I'm saying, like the way I'm seeing this shit
You wouldn't
synchronized.
want it to be a finished product. You wouldn't want it to be a finished product. I'd be thinking it could be, and I'd be trying to think that I'm gonna get to that point where I meet someone who's really like that. But no,
They're not really finished until you bust a nut in them. You know what I mean?
for
You
real.
know what I mean? And you're not done either. You know what I mean? So like I feel like that's kind of what I can see it in my body, the way it's synchronizing, like the way this shit is going and way like life is giving me opportunities to sell myself short and take less, or just hold my chips and wait and stay patient and keep work. Not like just waiting and being stagnant though, and just continually learning and not hurting myself and cutting back on all the distraction as much as possible. I feel like I'm forcing that, or I'm just letting the force come through. You know what I mean? Whereas like it's not possible for me to make a decision that's destructive. So I'm gonna just be with creation no matter what it is. You know what I mean? And I think I can just see it like, this has to be, this isn't for nothing. One way or another, there's value in this, whether I meet somebody and then, yeah, we go through the process of creation, or I'm just supporting other people in their processes and I'm not distracting myself so I can be a better vessel to help and I can be, close to creation that way. You know what I mean? But one way or another, I can see it like it's like daily opportunities to sell myself short. And I just know like,
Hold your chips.
yeah, continuing on this path, like it's gonna synchronize me with something that's in the likeness of this path and what this path is necessary for. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
It's funny because I see a lot of points where I myself would do something. Yeah, sell myself short. It takes willpower to not do so, but you got it, you know? But you see, like, okay, I can see where a lot of other people have done this throughout history. Like, in these endless cycles to where they feel like they're not able to make the decision I just did. Like, and it could be like ancestrally, but then that's really realizing, okay, this is really how so you can break so many cycles. It doesn't seem like a lot. It doesn't seem like you're doing much. It still takes effort. Like it takes will to do it. But
yeah, it's really subtle stuff, man. At this point, because all the heavy lifting is kind of done. It's like you survived, motherfucker. You made it to 29 or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. You just didn't know how much it was because you was living it. You know what I mean? But plenty of other people just never made it to that point. You know what I mean? Like your body is. I don't know. I feel like for me, I saw it like 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, 21. I reached such a physical strength that there's nowhere to go but to exercise other strengths.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I can't, you know what I mean? You're not gonna once you reach that experience, you're like, all right, well, what's the next thing? You know what I mean? Like
yep.
You're not gonna just keep doing that. You have to sacrifice a lot, you know what I mean? Like in order to just stay in that, you're gonna be like Ronnie Coleman and just be like, I'm gonna just be a bodybuilder. I'm not gonna be able to walk at the end of my life, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm 50, 60 years old and I can't fucking walk because all I did was just I just kept getting physically stronger. And like, I felt like, yeah, I reached a physical strength that where I'm like, all right, I'm in touch with my physical strength. You know what I mean? Now it's like getting in touch with all these other ways to be strong. And I can just see like, you reach a peak, like you reach a physical maturation and then you reach different levels, you know what I mean, to where you're just seeing shit clearly. Like when I was younger, I would take shit on physically that just I wasn't strong enough, or I was being overly strong. And now I'm in touch with my strength, physical strength, to where I can see like, oh, this is gonna break, or you know what I mean, one way or another. And then I feel like as I'm getting older, or as I'm growing, it's like I'm just seeing the other maturation, the other parts of me maturing, unseen parts of me maturing, to where it's like, okay, I can see this is coming to a climax where my body reached a climax physically, where it's like it's not gonna get no stronger. And if you focus on that, you're gonna lose a lot of other shit. If you're trying to just continually get stronger in this one way, you're gonna have to give up all this other strength. So I feel like I caught that at a pretty decent time. You know what I mean? It did do some. I felt like I held on a little too long, but it, not the worst damage. Could have been worse, but nothing I couldn't undo. And then now it's like I can see I'm reaching different levels of maturation where it's like, oh shit, this is just kind of happening like on a universal will shit where it's like I'm just being compelled by the universal will to learn what I'm learning and keep expressing myself and go through these different undertakings from day to day that push me closer to realizing my full potential and my destiny. You know what I mean? Like,
So there's a bunch of small undertakings, a part of a big undertaking.
yeah, that's it, man. Like, I've been seeing it all cycle back, and I feel like I'm just getting more vision. You know what I mean? Like, where it's like you're going uphill, and then you get to the top and you can see down. You know what I mean? You can see where, okay, the whole time you're like, man, I can't wait to get to the top. It got to be better than down here. But then I think you get to the top and you be like, oh shit, all it is down from here. You know what I mean? But that's at the same time the more leisurely part of the walk. You know what I mean? Or unless it's steep. But I think it's only steep if you do things extreme. I think if you're on a gradual path of growth, then you reach the crest of the mountain or whatever, the wave, and then you're like, okay, I peaked in my life. I'm content with that. I recognize that. Now I'm in this window of experiencing this part of life.
Well, this
And
peak perception is fascinating. It's like the phenomena of peak perception and how that goes into peak performance and experience. And then seeing that, yeah, the peak, then it's downhill from there. But is it though? Like, and then there gets to these paths of consciousness. I feel like there are these. It's not like I feel like there's these roads. Although, is there like an ascension and descension path? And then you see like angelic forces, demonic forces, like, and then then you have these whatever vessels we're calling them. So
I think,
you make a certain choice. You're on like you're on that, or what were you saying?
no, I'm saying like as an individual, I think you can, as an individual being, you're just gonna keep experiencing and keep growing in an unseen way. But like the visible part of you, I feel like there's a point where like the fruit is really ripe. You know, it's like you reach that point where it's like this is the point where the fruit's about to fall off the tree. You got to pick it now for it's the ground and it's worm food. You know what I mean? And I think and I think that's where you reach that point, but it's not like you never have another experience
Well, the
of,
seeds and
of
the fruit, though.
rising. Yeah, you know what I mean. You still can rise or can grow. Like you said, the seeds and the fruit. Like there's still growth after that experience, but
It's all
that
conceived.
that experience has to take place though. Like that point, like the fruit has to reach a ripeness to fall for the seed to germinate on the ground and then make another tree or whatever. That
Infinitely.
all those stages have to take place, you know. And it's like as long as you accept which stage you're in and meet that experience and stay
and
present
not
with it.
and not think you're the fruit meat instead of the seed. Like people be thinking they're the fruit. You know,
Yeah,
they be like, you're that seed though.
yeah. You know what I mean. You don't. You know what I mean. The seed, you got the armor on it. You know. So
It's like identifying with it, and then it's deteriorating, and then like the whole time, like what was it? Some sort of other parasitic force trying to get these seeds distracted, these from the essence, while they could just feed on it.
yeah, like you get pulled off the tree too early. You pull yourself off too early. Or you wait too long. And now it's, too late. You know what I mean? Where shit is just you overripe. I feel like it's an overripe period where it's like, all right, now it's not good for you to use this fruit to put it next to some other fruit. You know what I mean? I think at this point now you got to just go with the seed mode and come back out and go through the cycle.
Well, what about this image? A continuous ripening,
I
just
think the being,
continuously ripening,
I think the
just
metaphysical
all the
part
way.
is like that.
Oh yeah,
I know the metaphysical part's like that, but like there's a physical limitation that has to be there, man. Because like it's like imagine right, imagine if we was playing basketball and we was playing a game right, and there was no boundaries and there's no time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like,
it's like meditating or like
but, but think about it, like if it's just like if so say like we go into 11 or something, and then I take the ball when middle of the game and run off, and then you like, damn, I'm going home, and I come back to the court and I drop 11, and I'm like, what? There's no time limit, no boundaries.
yeah.
You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
So it doesn't make you know what I mean. So it doesn't. There's no steel sharpening steel there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
There's
where
no.
there's still an opening to push the limit here. Like to this lifetime, for sure you could get to sacred timeless space. For to a point to where this, how you have it laid out in nature, it does feel like an eternity in a physical body, where it could be even the whole electromagnetic electromagnetic fields around the commune are buffering, you know, buffering all the soul sucking forces because it's buildings even being made out of the biologic materials versus buildings made out of aluminum. What that does to um, just biology. Just over time, it literally just creates the aging process. We could probably create spaces where it could significantly slow down the aging process, but not to live forever, but to get to those points of experiences, or maybe even start to, create our own inflection points in reality, where it's timeless. You're in a physical body, you got your family here, and everyone's here.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I feel like I can stretch the shit like with my body, like where like I know I'm getting
100%.
too bulky. I know I'm getting too bulky. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the physical, reaching my physical strength, I could go right now and go focus on the weights and just be out there power cleaning and squatting and bench pressing and just and running and doing everything to get physically strong. You know what I mean? And I know my body enough now, but having gone through the cycles enough to where it's like I'm gonna have to forfeit certain things in my life in order to continue to get strong in this way. Or you know what I mean? Instead of just, exercising other strength, you know what I mean?
Uh,
But it's like since I know the formula, it's like all right, I know how to keep refresh my body to reach that point where it's like, okay, I'm really strong, you know what I mean? I could defend myself and I have a good range of motion. But so now let me get back to the books and let me get back to the whole practices and other things and building shit and learning different things. You know what I mean?
yep.
And then when the shit start, when I feel like all right, I can feel the cycle come back around. Like it's time to get back, hitting the heavy bag and hitting the speed bag and benching and running and shooting the ball and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it, because you reach such a peak at some point where you're like you can see when you're slipping, and then you continue to like come back up to that place, and then you just maintenance in that. You know what I mean? To where your body does stay pretty good in testosterone hormone levels and stuff for a long time. You know what I mean? Where you can stretch it. Whereas like some people, yeah, they just explode. You know what I mean? 22, 23, that's it. It's all downhill from there. They're done. They'll
Yeah.
never be that good. You know what I mean? Never be in good shape again.
Man, I really see this exponential. Like, could you just what age would you ideally want to just like stay at? Like,
I don't
okay,
know, man. I don't
like
know because you can't
if
teach
you could
age.
just take your body though, like, okay, my body when I'm 39. Like, I think I'll probably get to that point, like, okay, or like
You can't
35.
teach age. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach age. That's the part of it. Like, because I don't know. Like, I think I feel good now, but maybe at 35 I'll be more flexible and I have better circulation. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm 35. 35 was better. I thought 33 was the shit.
Yeah, you're on track. It looks like you're on track. That seems ideal, good sir. I don't. Yeah, if I tell people a lot too. I'm like health isn't everything, and they're like, what? Ah, man, it's the only thing. Though, but, I mean, years ago you said that, ran into your stuff, and still, it's freaky true. Such a freak, such I don't know. I come in and out of stages or just periods of time where I can't really integrate or even relate or talk to people. It's pretty crazy. Even think about getting in a relationship. It's crazy. It's impossible. It almost seems impossible when I look around with no certain things about if I just
But like
treat
once you get the one, it's over. Once you get the one, it's done, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you really get the one, like it's the beginning of the end at that point. So it's like no rush to that. You know what I mean? Like you don't even want it. You kind of don't even want it. That's why you're not getting it because you kind of don't even want it. You're like, oh man, I got shit I gotta do. I know I gotta do some shit. You know what I mean? But I found
for real.
myself. I be wanting attention and energy at different times because bad relationships with my moms at early in my life. You know what I mean? So it ended up having an effect on how view relationships. But
That's,
now I feel like I'm a lot more patient, man, because I don't want to end up perpetuating that shit, man.
I mean, it's not you can't even do it if you're just being aware. You're present, so you can make the decisions that are necessary for things to just stay happening in a harmonious way that's to you and the world at the same time. Like I mean, thing is, I'm not even gonna think about it. I think about it less and I worry less. And then I get embarrassed and then I worry less some more after I get over it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it,
man.
man. You think a good embarrassment? They trying to stop that. They're trying to stop people from being able to be embarrassed, and it's going to create a bunch of overly sensitive people, man.
Well, and people that still have no moral compass that's inherent or like self-made, like because that's how the religious dogma be coming in saying it's just do this because of this fear reason and you'll get some spiritual benefit in return. You don't need to know what's right or wrong. We tell you what's right or wrong. But I feel like that embarrassment or just that mechanism of shame to a degree, there's something about shame in that sense to where you could kind of feel like, okay, I feel this is wrong in myself and I know now that you don't do this, and that could very well be written in the scripture, but you didn't need that.
Man, the body itself, I feel like be dictating a lot, man. It's just like accepting the intelligence of the body, you know what I mean, and having a good rapport with it, having a good communication with it, enhance it with the best communication skills you can have because it's just like you're really observing it. You're observing the synchronicity of the body and not getting in the way of it flowering. You know what I mean? Because it's just like pollen in the wind and shit. Just like this shit has a match. It can only match what it's supposed to match with. You know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? And getting out the way. You know what I mean? Accepting that this matches for this. For years I thought my brother was gonna be with the chick he was with. And then he ended up not being with her. Like at the last minute and shit. Like ha. Like it was like I'm like damn, and I don't feel like the chick that he's with, I would have selected her for him. But just as an example, like
Probable. It's
you know,
highly
I would have never thought, man, that he would be with the chick like that. You know what I mean? And
cool.
crazy, man. Like I don't know. I feel like I always wonder. Like I guess was he always doing that? Based on his decisions, I guess they were always leading him to that point.
He, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
You know.
see, yeah, I could pull up like one more note here because I had the dang notepad out 1 second ago. I mean, do you ever feel like something's ever tried to like recruit you in your dreams, like a like a like a like a multidimensional recruitment thing, like trying to get you on some agenda.
Nigga Pharaoh, man. I remember I used to have dreams where I was like moving him into apartments, moving his furniture for him and shit. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? I had dreams like that. You know what I mean? But nah, not that I can remember. Like most of my dreams is I'm trying to break out of stuff, or I'm in school, or like shit like that when it comes to like
institutions or groups.
Oh, the shame thing is there's a necessary part of it, but man, when people say sorry, man, like they're like sorry.
Like all the time, you mean? Like just like at the grocery store?
Yeah, this is like at the grocery store anyway, but it's like
It's funny, man. I don't know. Germans is not like that. They never say sorry.
and that's I feel like that's so important for a soul or like spiritually. It's important that that feeling doesn't really cross your body like too unless it's like some really serious thing that like. But other than that, it's just like this. It's like a shame.
It's always there. It's always there, I guess. Yeah, because Germans always make fun of people, Americans, for that. They're like, you gotta say sorry over anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm just yeah.
Like you always say sorry over everything, and it's like Americans always act nice in front of people and then talk shit about them, whereas Germans never say sorry and they talk shit about you in front of you, but then they talk nice about you in private.
All right. Yep. Very indirect and so I mean I just had to mention that. And so I mean but being in dreams it really is specific scenarios that like the main question I kind of have for you for this conversation is because I'm still talking about and thinking about not trying to obsess. I'm not trying to obsess over mysteries and stuff like in a weird ungrounded way. Like, and I even asked too like about the undertaking because I was asking like, okay, what's undertaking? It's like all these smaller ones. But do you feel like there's a deeper mystery being unlocked? Like as you're going through breaking curses, like what is there something happening for you in that sense?
Yeah, I think it's just bringing me closer to like that point of singularity. I mean, that point of like the perspective, that universal perspective on
You couldn't see this before.
creation. Yeah, like because it's like it's almost like the Ecclesiastes thing when he's like everything that nothing new under the sun or whatever. He's like everything that is done has everything that people want to do has already been done. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and I feel like kind of like getting cleared inside myself, like circumcision of the heart, to where I can see like the point of creation and like how
The what of creation?
like the initial point of creation and like how I relate to it. You know, like my relationship to that point. I think that's the clarity. I think is more so giving me like more and more every day. I'm just seeing like man, creation already happened, so it's happening.
Okay. You see it happening, and with it being an original point, you're saying there's original acts.
Yeah, like it just I mean, like there's the initial point of creation that I'm stemming from, and it's just like it's just seeing my place in all of that.
Hmm.
And I think that giving me serenity more and more every day, where I can see
Community,
serenity. I feel like
serenity.
yeah, I have a place that I've always existed in. It's my place, and if I try to abandon that, then I abandon myself, and I, I I I get estranged from the perspective of that point of singularity, that initial creation. You know what I mean? Where everything is emanating from, where all light is emanating from. Like the more I reject the place. You know what I mean? I feel like then it just feels like there's no place. You know what I mean? That I feel like there's no greater uh I guess pain in a sense to just not knowing your place. Because like if you don't know your place, then you're just gonna constantly feel like you don't have one.
And it's like that one Dao De Jing verse, the 33rd one. I kept posting it over and over again. I don't know if you saw it.
Wow.
Posted it over and over, like just like 10 different translations.
Yep.
And the one it was saying like presence is perseverance and in one's place, like is success or whatever. I forget. Like I can't go out of this app to go check it out, but it's basically like, knowing the place that was designed for you and accepting it. Like it was like basically like not leaving one's place is moving forward.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like still, yes, and then it's like stillness is moving forward or whatever. Basically the same thing. It was like a bunch of translations of the same thing. But a lot of them just said like, knowing the place that life has given you and accepting not leaving your post is like it's like one of the main virtues, you know what I mean? To where you can, I think from that place you actually have perspective, like you can actually see. But then like the more that you move or try to blind yourself to that rather, then I think then you get more blind and you get more destructive because you can't see, you have no clarity as far as creation is concerned. So then it's like not hearing, you're like tone deaf.
Or blindfolded.
The whole chorus is playing one thing, you just in here like banging on keys.
Well, it's like blindfolded and tone deaf. And then every time you have a kid from there, it's like a deeper level of tone deafness and darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's scary, man.
Bro, but that's why I feel like that's because this place, it's just like, how do you even get a glimpse when you're born in a body that's been born in a body that's been born in a body separated from that? And then but then you got the information technology, Dao De Jing, whatever can spark stuff, whatever piece of, I guess, external light can like activate the dormant inner light about this.
I feel like uh, everybody has an opportunity to, continue to learn and expose themselves to the whole truth and everything. And like the people that don't and they perish,
You're not.
I think that they maybe never existed anyway. And nihilistic way of thinking, but I think in some respects it's like they never were if they never do. They never realized themselves and they never were. And there was in some respects.
It's like trying to explain, or like it's trying to convince somebody that they're not gonna ever understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or like, because then once you convince them, then you're right, and they're not gonna remember. Trying to convince somebody that they're not even gonna remember what you're telling them, and they never will.
Yeah, it's like really like, but I'm
It's like,
trying to look them up.
you're not gonna remember this.
There's nothing there to remember.
And they're like,
They never were.
but that I feel like that's how it be a lot of the time, or not really. It's just, but there's real people.
Yeah, it's like, but their bodies, the bodies are like tangible, you know what I mean? But the reality is not there, present in the body. It's not actively present in the body. It's not on the surface. Like,
Man, and I'm looking at it because I've mentioned before, just like how would I take memory through death? Like, because most of because you're only really gonna take peak experiences. Like, if the whole thing does flash before your eyes, like it's just all the highs and all the lows, like the worst points and the best points. And then there's other parts that just aren't gonna be remembered that much. But if you are living on principle, there's a way. There's a way that everything you do is that meaningful in your consciousness to where you remember everything. And I feel like that's a. Do you think that's a natural state that, like, that's not a weird way to be? Is where you remember. I don't know.
I mean, I really feel like at this point I getting more continuity, more sober I get because I think the more sober you are, the more real you are with yourself. I mean, like you are reality. So like it's just more continuity I can see from being sober. You know what I mean? Like my ability to retain memories and like recall days. Like I can recall this day a year ago and remember all the events of it. 'Cause I was sober from then till now. You know, generally I think maybe with the exception of like 6 days. You know? But like whereas like I did acid and I did shrooms and I did DMT. But like outside of them 6 days, it's like total continuity. I know the days. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, if I continue that on for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the continuity's there. And then if I just pass on, then it's like a lot of that is retained. If you because the only way that you can have the continuity is if you gradually challenging yourself and you progress in your life. Otherwise, it's just all wash. It's all monotonous. You're not really learning, so it's nothing to remember anyway. You know what I
And
mean?
this continuous learning thing is wild. And you even said that, I mean, if you, because sometimes if you feel like you're not doing anything, or say, I'm just going to do nothing instead of do what I usually do, like, you would think that means stagnancy. But there's always something else you could do that you didn't know you could previously do. Like,
Yeah,
instead of what you were already doing.
yeah. I mean, but then it's
Like
like people
always,
force it. People are going to force it. I'll get off of work at this time. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get some Taco Bell or whatever. And it's like, you don't have to do that every time. That's so monotonous. This gap of the day is totally unconscious, totally just reactionary routine.
and then I don't know, the emptiness of it. That's not. Yeah, man, this is. It feels like when I'm not doing the normal thing that I usually do, it becomes like a more authentic act. Like, I'm gonna say what I would typically say, but let me have a space where I don't. But then I can still say the same thing and say it differently, say the same thing in a different way. But the quality to it is an experience that I feel like we're getting closer to more meaning in the day and just more meaning in life. Like if I'm doing what I don't typically do every time, all the time, and then now I'm getting out of set neural pathways. Like it really does seem like these substratas of the subconscious mind, like people are living in. Like that's the reason you wouldn't even cross paths with so many people, because they're just operating in just one dark corner of their mind in one place.
Yeah.
Like, but then you do start crossing paths with people. Then
Yeah, the
things start.
breath, it's like we all inhale the same universal breath, but like it don't flow through us all the same way. So then we all got different perspectives. It's like, yeah, you got all them synapses and stuff firing and connected in your brain and your being, your whole nervous system. Then, the breath is going to flow through you completely. You know what I mean? So there's more continuity there. You know what I mean? It's more presence. You're retaining, you're just there. You're present. You're retaining your breath, your presence.
Mhm.
And like, I think some people are just the breath isn't flowing through them. We're all drawing from the same well, but people got different filters. You know what I mean? The water's going through them, the breath is going through them, and it's not going through completely. It's
Well, and then they get behind, and you get behind on it.
yeah,
The thing with being behind though is like, is there a limit to how that could stack up? Because I'm feeling like I might be years. I'm still years behind. Like if I started 5 years ago, but I was 20 years into snoring, because like, what do you think snoring is? I guess there's different types of snoring too.
I mean, it's like sleep apnea.
Like it looks like someone's just buried in their consciousness and so deep in their body that when they're sleeping, it's just like that. I mean, but you're not breathing. Like it's suffocating. The body, there's no will to breathe. like in the like it's been like, it's like etched in the brain to not care about breathing so much that it's just you're just like you're just doing that.
I've heard of like boxers and shit, and people taping their mouth shut so that they force themselves to breathe through their nose when they sleep.
Just because there's no will there. There's no will to breathe.
Yeah, and because mouth breathing is really damaging, you know what I mean, to your face muscles, to your system. You don't have no filter there breathing that way like you do through your nose.
Well, and I went to bed just off some mac and cheese and ice cream, you know,
Yeah.
and then day before it was tacos.
Yeah. No,
I'm having McDonald's. You know, I'm on McDonald's every Friday. You know, I'm drinking the sodas, and I'm just going to sleep like this for like 15, 20 years. Like, I'm still every breath session still gets crazy. But,
yeah, I used to suffocate myself. I used to always sleep in my belly. Even since I was an infant, they said. And then
but you,
now it's like totally flipped to where I don't really dream unless I'm on my back.
mm,
Unless I'm really still on my back, I don't really dream like I did. Like on the sides, I don't dream. It's not as even. My breathing's not as even, you know. And yeah, man, like
I'm still adjusting. I'm still getting to that point. Like, I know the work that I have to do to change my sleeping patterns, just like I'm making any other habit, which is not even a thing, you know. Although the point that I've got to of just being estranged physically, like, because that was the foundation. I feel like my whole foundation for like how to be in my body was just there was nothing there. There was no structure, you know, like even to the entertainment. Like I feel like the entertainment and how much time I spent, you know, online, like watching TV, and then I'd be thinking about my potential potency, you know, like for what I could have been if I was raised like an Aboriginal child in a tribe. Like I feel like I would be able to have, you know, at this point I'd have like superhuman abilities, you know. Like, but nah, it was Disney and and junk food. Now I go to the corner store, get some of these donuts and sodas, man. That's I was a fiend. I feel like I was just a fiend. I was a dope fiend, you know, just like, but with these other drugs, you know, with these retail processed items, you know, and to the media that was synchronized with the ads, you know, the dopest shit to show kids to get them hyped off this new shit, you know,
yeah,
this like
the
it's.
sanctions,
I mean, and I felt like I lost so much potency, and then you had the porn in there, bro. So much potency, so much potential. I could be such a potent fucking creator at this point. Like, but it was all these hours spent into just being a soft consumer, but an addict consumer, like, you know. But still, like, I was getting pushed in certain ways. I was getting pushed in so many ways, that were just kind of socially, like, you know, you play the football. I feel like, you know, I think that was nice. I had football. I had the mean football coach. I remember feeling like I was getting fat and, you know, doing push-ups at a certain age. You know, that thing was in my mind. Like I was just like, okay, I don't want to be fat. At least at least knew I, I knew that. I knew I didn't want to be fat, and I would just play sports. But then I'm getting attention from sports. I'm not even playing sports for the sports. I'm just playing because people are watching. You know, that's another thing. Like, you know, but early on, you know, to where it's like, you know, none of these kids are getting the attention that they actually require to have like a balanced sense of, you know, identity or self-esteem that's not gonna like depend on the environment, you know, to feed it, because it's just like all that dependence is just creating these atrophies, these social psychic atrophies, you know, to where, man, it's like I'm you know, I balance it out. You see this is the karma, you know, or these are like the inherited curses or the inherited mind, you know, you know, all the corrections that you do make, you're basically, you know, solving the mystery. Boom.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
why all this nonsense?
yeah. I mean, just to derail people, you know, they don't want people to tap into that, man. It's crazy, man. So many hurdles, so many extra hurdles that would not be there if people was working together. If they was involved.
Connected. Well, I see it all happening, coming together as far as people, because it really is like a group of people. Like, it's like, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, it's like, all the people who don't know, they kind of just don't even care to know. They wouldn't even want to know. But you would think, and people have conversations that are almost based on the assumption that you would think like, hey, maybe they do want to know, but nah. Some people just legit don't want to know. Does it explaining? Is it necessary? Is like, how can this conversation be more than just a vain, like some vain expression of just people talking to the people who know the same thing? Like, this is anyone who's listening to this is already knowing all the same stuff. So why are we even talking about this? But then, and so there is vanity, but then also there is the documentation of it, and that's why I'm glad we've been able to have all the conversations we've had up until this point, homie.
You know, I just think it helps one way or another. It helps me organize my thoughts further. So
And
if anything, it helps one person.
oh, for shizzle, it's to help too for no problem with no problem. It's really just so much assistance that I feel like is coming from the technology. Like if people could put their ideas down, it was writing and stuff like that, but then even documenting. Certain podcasts, yes. And then, though, I really do feel, I believe, even now, I look at stuff from 2 years ago, it's like, yes, super. Like, I'm so glad that these things are here. And so, I'm glad for that. And I just want to get a shout out all the listeners on this convo,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
as far as it's been ongoing.
I know we're running long now, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right then, man. Yeah, shout out to the patrons. Thank you guys, and yeah, man. I guess if you got anything else to add, or if you don't, you know what I mean. Until next time, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the last thing is because I want to get back to you with some more, like, specific ideas of how to expand in the next combo. Like probably next week I'll hit you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll be over here. My life's finally starting to slow down a little bit, so it'll be nice.
All right, sounds good. And yeah, so, I mean, stay blessed, and enjoy the now, and yeah, thanks for your time, man.
Oh yeah, you too, man. It'll be easy down there, man.
Okay, I'll be my best. Thanks.
All right. Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
man.
All
Peace.
right, likewise. Peace.